Welcome to another deep dive. You guys have really outdone yourselves this time, sending in some pretty intense excerpts.
Intense is one way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all seem to be from the same book, and, well, let's just say it paints a pretty bleak picture of the future.
Bleak, definitely.
Yeah, a future where three superstates, Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia, are locked in this endless war.
And not just any war, a war that's less about conquest and more about...
Control.
Exactly.
Well, we're here to unpack all of that, figure out what makes this world tick, and more importantly, why you, listening right now, should even care.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The whole idea that war itself could be a tool for control.
Yeah, like instead of fighting for resources or land,
Right.
it's about maintaining power at home.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit.
Okay.
The excerpts mention that the fighting is mainly happening in disputed territories, right? Leaving the heartlands of these superstates pretty much untouched.
Almost as if it's all carefully staged.
Like a performance.
A performance, yeah.
Yeah. Chilling.
It really is. When you think about the psychological impact on the citizens, living in that constant state of fear and paranoia, constantly bombarded with propaganda, it's the perfect recipe for creating unquestioning obedience to the ruling party.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. But who are these proles that the excerpts keep mentioning?
The proles. They're essentially the working class.
Yeah.
You know, the vast majority of the population. The party largely ignores them.
I see. So they're not seen as a threat, I guess.
Right. Too preoccupied with their own lives.
To cause any trouble.
Exactly.
So the party focuses all its energy on controlling its own members then, right? We see all this constant surveillance with these telescreens in every home. There's even Newspeak, right? A new language designed to limit thought by getting rid of words that challenge the party's ideology.
Yeah, eliminating any thought that could lead to rebellion. It's all about complete control. Not just over actions, but thoughts and even emotions.
It really is.
You know, they manipulate information, rewrite history, even distort language, all to maintain power.
Speaking of manipulating information, that's where this idea of doublethink comes in, right?
Yes.
This whole concept of holding two contradictory beliefs at the same time.
It's crucial, actually, to how the party functions. Allows them to justify any action, no matter how illogical or cruel.
Like the party slogan, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
Precisely. Those contradictions become accepted truths through doublethink.
It's terrifying to think about.
It is.
How easily our own perceptions can be manipulated, even without telescreens watching us, right? Like, you think about social media algorithms
Absolutely.
and how they shape what we see and what we believe.
Subtle form of control, but powerful nonetheless.
It is.
And that's what makes this dystopian world so relevant, even today. You know, it forces us to question where we get our information from and the narratives that we accept as truth.
Now, within this world of manipulation, we have our protagonist, Winston.
Yeah.
He starts keeping a diary, which seems like a small act, but it's a huge rebellion against the party. So what makes him risk everything to challenge the system?
Winston represents that spark of individuality, that critical thinking that the party tries so hard to extinguish.
I see.
You know?
Yeah.
He craves genuine human connection, freedom of thought, a world where truth isn't dictated by those in power.
Yeah.
And that's where his relationship with Julia comes in.
Yes, Julia, another seemingly rebellious spirit.
Another one, exactly.
Their relationship plays out in secret, hidden from the party. They even think they found a space outside the party's control, a room above a junk shop.
Right, a little haven.
A haven, yeah.
They're longing for intimacy, for genuine connection. It's such a powerful statement against the party's attempt to dehumanize its citizens.
Makes you wonder if connection and intimacy are seen as such threats.
Exactly.
What does that say about the party's view of humanity?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
But as we see, even the smallest act of rebellion can have dangerous consequences in this world.
And that's where O'Brien comes in, right? This high-ranking party member.
Yeah.
He seems to understand Winston's rebellious leanings. He even gives Winston a copy of the book, this forbidden text by the party's enemy, Goldstein.
O'Brien is a fascinating character. His true motives are really shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, he seems to represent both the allure of forbidden knowledge and the danger of trusting the wrong person in a world where nothing is what it seems.
Exactly.
Speaking of danger, the excerpts you guys sent in on a cliffhanger.
Oh, they do?
Winston and Julia are caught in their secret room by the thought police.
Uh-oh.
I have a feeling things are about to get a lot more intense.
The stakes have definitely been raised, that's for sure.
Yeah, and in part 2, We'll see just how far the party is willing to go to maintain control and crush any sign of dissent.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up.
Winston and Julia's capture, it really marks a turning point in their story.
Yeah, it does.
And it really plunges us into the darkest depths of the party's control, you know?
Yeah.
They're separated, brought to the Ministry of Love, which
Which is anything but loving, right?
Oh, absolutely.
From the excerpts, it sounds like a complete nightmare.
It is. It's where the party, they don't just punish dissent.
It's more than that.
They want to break the human spirit.
Wow.
We're talking torture, physical and psychological, aimed at forcing confessions.
And ultimately, complete submission to the party.
Exactly.
It's really chilling when you think about it.
It is.
The excerpts describe Winston being starved, beaten, subjected to sleep deprivation, but beyond the physical pain, it's the psychological manipulation that is truly terrifying.
Absolutely. The party doesn't just want obedience.
Right.
They want genuine belief in their version of reality.
No matter how absurd.
No matter how contradictory. Remember doublethink.
Yeah.
This is where it really comes into play.
So even something like 2 + 2 = 4
Oh, yeah.
is up for debate in this world.
Absolutely. Winston's interrogator, O'Brien, forces him to confront his own sanity.
Wow.
To doubt his memories, to accept that 2 + 2 can equal 5 if the party says so.
It's crazy how power can just distort truth like that.
It really is. It's a chilling example of how easily perception can be manipulated.
And speaking of O'Brien,
Yeah.
he goes from this enigmatic figure who seems to offer Winston some hope
Right.
to his torturer.
Talk about a betrayal.
That must be devastating for Winston.
That's crushing. Absolutely crushing.
He placed so much trust in O'Brien, believed maybe there were others who doubted the party.
But O'Brien represents the party's ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Their willingness to use any means necessary to maintain control.
The excerpts really go into detail about Winston's interrogation. It's truly horrifying.
It's tough to read.
O'Brien uses these carefully crafted arguments, combined with the physical pain and psychological manipulation, to just break down Winston's resistance.
What's really disturbing is how O'Brien systematically dismantles Winston's sense of self.
Yeah, he forces him to betray Julia.
Renounce everything he believes in.
And then ultimately embrace the party's version of reality as his own.
It's a complete destruction of the individual.
It's a complete, yeah.
And then, even after all of that, Winston's ordeal isn't over.
There's more.
Oh.
He's taken to room 101.
The ultimate fear.
This place represents the ultimate fear.
Yeah, the thing that each individual dreads the most.
Room 101 is the culmination of the party's cruelty, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Where they break down any remaining resistance by confronting you with your deepest, most primal fear.
Exactly.
And for Winston...
It's rats.
Rats. The description of that cage with the rats being brought closer and closer to his face, it's just...
Unbearable.
It is. It's unbearable.
It's a visceral image meant to highlight the depths of the party's depravity.
Yeah.
The primal nature of fear itself.
Faced with that terror, Winston finally breaks, right?
He does.
He betrays everything he holds dear, begs for the punishment to be inflicted on Julia instead.
It's heartbreaking, a moment of complete surrender.
It is.
A testament to the power of fear to override even the strongest convictions.
But even after this complete betrayal, Winston's story isn't over.
Yeah. Not quite. We see glimpses of him after his release from the Ministry of Love.
Okay.
He's a shell of his former self, seemingly embracing the party's ideology, working a mundane job.
And he even encounters Julia again.
He does.
But he's cold, distant, claims to have no feelings for her anymore.
But even in his broken state, there are hints of inner turmoil, you know.
Like he still loves her.
He does, but he's too afraid to admit it.
Even to himself.
Even to himself, the party has instilled in him such a deep-seated fear of any genuine emotion.
Of connection.
Of connection.
And as he sits there in the Chestnut Tree Cafe,
drinking gin,
listening to the party propaganda, there's this flicker of something in his eyes.
A glimmer.
He remembers a childhood song, a fragment of a world before the party.
It's a powerful image.
Yeah.
Suggesting that even in the face of oppression, a spark of humanity, a memory of freedom, can endure.
But the ending of the excerpts is so ambiguous.
It is.
It leaves us with more questions than answers.
We see Winston looking up at a poster of Big Brother, feeling this surge of love and loyalty.
So, has he truly been broken?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is this outward conformity a mask?
A way to survive.
A way to survive in a world where resistance seems futile.
It's a question that lingers long after you finish these excerpts.
It does. It really makes you think about the limits of human resilience and the enduring power of hope, even in the darkest of times.
It's such a haunting image, you know?
It is.
To end on Winston seemingly transformed into this model party member.
Right. But even throughout all this darkness,
Yeah.
we've also seen those sparks of resistance.
We have.
Those little hints that maybe, just maybe, hope isn't completely extinguished.
Yeah, like with the proles.
The proles.
They really stand out, right?
They do. They live almost outside the party's grasp, it seems.
Yeah, holding on to traditions, remembering a time before Big Brother.
It's like the party doesn't even see them as a threat.
Yeah, like they're beneath notice, you know?
Exactly. Too simple. Too easily manipulated by their desires.
Right. But what's interesting is
Yeah.
they seem to have a stronger connection to the past than even party members like Winston.
Don't they? They still use old slang, sing old songs. They even have this sense of community that's been totally wiped out within the party.
There's that scene where Winston visits a pub in a parole district.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to talk to this old man about life before the revolution, like he's desperately searching for confirmation that the world wasn't always like this.
Searching for some hope in the past.
Yeah, and the old man's memories, they're fragmented, sure.
Unreliable.
Unreliable, but they do suggest a time when there was more freedom, you know?
More individuality, even if life was tougher in other ways.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
It does.
Could the proles, in their supposed ignorance, actually hold the key to, I don't know, reclaiming some kind of human existence?
It's a thought-provoking idea, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Maybe true strength isn't about blind obedience, but holding on to those human connections, you know?
Those memories of a time before the party.
Exactly.
It's about where we place our trust, our hope, right?
Yeah.
Do we look to those in power, or do we find strength in the everyday resilience of just ordinary people?
Tough question.
It is a tough question.
But even Winston, you know, despite his outward submission, he has those moments.
He does.
Where his old self breaks through.
Like when he buys that beautiful glass paperweight.
Oh, yeah, from Mr. Charrington.
Mr. Charrington, that paperweight, it's like this tangible link to the past.
A world of beauty, craftsmanship that the party has tried to erase.
It is.
It's a symbol of everything Winston craves.
It is.
You know, a world where individuality and beauty are valued.
And there's that line, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
The paperweight was the room he was in, and the coral was Julia's life and his own, fixed in a sort of eternity at the heart of the crystal.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it speaks to that enduring power of human connection, you know?
It does.
The way that love and beauty can transcend even the most oppressive circumstances.
It suggests that even though Winston might have given in on the outside,
Yeah.
a part of him still yearns for that world, for that connection with Julia.
And we can't forget about O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah.
Even after everything, he's still such a fascinating, ambiguous character.
Oh, he is.
Is he truly a party fanatic? Or does some part of him understand, even sympathize with Winston?
That's what's so brilliant about the author. You're left grappling with O'Brien's true motives, just like Winston.
It's true. It really makes you question your own assumptions.
Doesn't it? About good and evil, power, the lines between loyalty and betrayal.
It does. It really does.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has. It's been a wild ride through this future.
A bleak future.
A bleak future where truth is manipulated, individuality is crushed, and war is this constant tool for control.
A lot to think about.
Yeah, it paints a pretty dark picture, but it's not without its glimmers of hope, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We've seen the resilience of the proles, that enduring power of human connection.
Oh, we have.
And this unwavering spirit of rebellion that flickers even in the darkest of times.
A spark of defiance that refuses to be extinguished.
Exactly. So as you all go back to your world, think about this. What small acts of resistance can you take? How can you safeguard against the manipulation of truth? How do you hold on to your own individuality?
Good question.
What gives you hope, even in the face of challenges? This deep dive, it doesn't offer any easy answers, but it does challenge us to confront these questions.
It does.
To think critically, to never stop fighting for a world where freedom and truth prevail.
Here.